This is a Rides and Drives test drive of the 2021 Toyota Venza. The Venza is a mid-size crossover that competes with the Chevy Blazer, Ford Edge, Nissan Murano, and a number of other vehicles. So this is the 2021 Toyota Venza. Toyota says it's all new, and yes, they haven't made a Venza since 2015, but it's really the nameplate and the sheet metal that's new here. Underneath, you pretty much have the RAV4 hybrid. So, this is built on Toyota's next generation K platform, same as the RAV4. This has the exact same wheelbase. It has the exact same gas and electric motor setup for the all-wheel drive, but it is a very different vehicle. All Venzas are all-wheel drive and all Venzas are hybrid, whether you get the LE or this limited model. The Venza makes 219 horsepower, which is modest, but enough, because this SUV, as Toyota calls it, is neither sporty or particularly utilitarian. What it is a really comfortable alternative to a full-size sedan. I like to call it the Avalon of SUVs. As I mentioned, all Venzas are all-wheel drive, but they have a very interesting configuration. Instead of a drive shaft that runs from the transmission to a rear transfer case, what you have is an electric motor that runs independently, but is synced electronically to the engine and two electric motors up front. So when you need all-wheel drive for acceleration or on slippery surfaces, the rear motor kicks in. Otherwise, it just rolls along and you have a front-wheel drive vehicle. Fully independent McPherson strut, front suspension, multi-link rear suspension, provides decent isolation from the road, and it is tuned more for smooth than for sport, obviously. So what you have is a really good long-distance cruiser. This is not a vehicle that thrills you, it's a vehicle that comforts you. The Venza is rated at 40 miles per gallon around town, 38 on the highway. I think I'm getting around that with my week with this vehicle. It is the highest mileage crossover or SUV you can buy by a long shot, which means you're going to save thousands of dollars over the life of this vehicle, because even the closest competitor only gets 24 miles per gallon combined. The Venza is really focused on comfort, fuel economy, style, and just smoothness. I mean, when you drive this thing and turn on the XM satellite radio, you're going to be on the smooth jazz channel all the time, because that's the attitude this vehicle has. This is really for empty nesters and maybe couples with one kid, but it's more a personal transportation vehicle than a family vehicle. And if you look at it that way, it does a great job of what it's supposed to do. This is the limited edition, which means it's fully loaded, and that includes the optional Stargaze sunroof. This is a really cool feature in that it is electrified glass, so if you're driving along like this and it's kind of milky, but you want to see outside, you go ahead and hit this button and boom! Now it's clear and I can see the sky and the stars if it were night up above. But if the sun is really banging hot one day and you just want to keep things cool in the interior, you flip that switch and now it frosts over and helps keep things cooler. And if you just want to black out the sky, it does have a full screen on it as well. Another great feature in this is the camera rear view mirror. So right now it's on normal mode, but if I go ahead and flip this here, it through a camera on the tailgate, now this is an LCD screen, and I can see behind me if I had 3 people in the back seat or a full load of cargo all the way up to the ceiling blocking the rear window. It does take some getting used to because the perspective is a little different than the traditional rear view mirror. There are a few things, however, that I don't like about the Venza, and I'm going to start with the 12.3-inch interface. The screen size is great. I like that. The graphics are clean and crisp, maybe a little busy on the home screen, but I'm sure if I played around with it, I could modify that a bit and make it more to my liking. But my big complaint is down here with the capacitive touch buttons. You know, this is something that Cadillac tried 10 years ago and was roundly criticized. Capacitive touch is a tough technology to use in a car where you want to keep your eyes focused down the road because there's no tactile sensation down here. This is just a smooth surface with some type on it, so I have to look down to find the home screen button. I have to look down to find the menu button. I have to look down to find the map button. I can't just feel for it the way you can if these were piano keys or some other tactile button, and having to take that away from the road, take my attention away from the road like that, I don't think is the safest technology possible. Funny enough, in the base version of this, you do get tactile buttons, you get a volume knob, you get a tuning knob, things that I would prefer as opposed to this interface. My other criticism is really style over substance. In the rear hatchback, where they have put that really nice angle on it, it looks great, it looks a little sporty, but it takes away a ton of cargo area from the back. So that's a compromise that you're going to have to live with if you want this vehicle. If you're really looking for an SUV, for utility, for capability, well, then you're going to look at the RAV4. But if you're looking for a vehicle that has a high seating position, all-wheel drive, a little more ground clearance, and you just want to drive it on the road and you want to be comfortable, then the Venza is your option. So they're really starting to segment these categories in a way that, you know, makes a ton of sense, because there are a lot of people that will never take an SUV off the pavement. Venza is available in 3 grades, LE, XLE, and Limited, and it starts at $32,500 for the LE, and that gets you the hybrid powertrain and the all-wheel drive. It also gives you an 8-inch touchscreen, and you get cloth seats instead of the soft text faux leather seats. Also a few other minor changes in the technology. As you go up to the XLE, you get upgrades on the interior, and you can add the optional 12.3-inch touchscreen. And finally, the Limited trim has everything, and this one, all decked out with its options, is $43,100. So a lot to like about this. It's smooth, it is efficient, it is quiet and comfortable. That's what Venza is all about. Don't let anyone tell you anything else. This is the vehicle for people who just want supreme comfort when they're going from place to place. So that's the 2021 Toyota Venza. Tell us what you think in the comments. For more information, check out ridesanddrives.com and make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. For Rides and Drives, I'm Harvey Briggs, and I'll see you somewhere down the road.